Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Degree afternoon here in Landover, Maryland, as we get set for the Redskins and the Panthers. Carolina head coach Ron Rivera. His club has lost 5 consecutive games. Their only win back in week 2 over the New Orleans Saints. Redskins at 3 up, 5 down. Lost in Pittsburgh last Sunday. Redskins won the toss. They will defer. Washington wearing throwback uniforms and helmets today, honoring the 1937 NFL champion Redskins. Sammy Baugh's rookie year, the first season for the franchise in Washington.
That's a heck of a job making that helmet look like it's from 1937.
Yeah, it looks like leather, man. A look at Kealoha Polaris back deep for the Panthers. Kai Forbath will get things started. Panthers beat the Redskins 33-20 in their last meeting, October of last season. Redskins and Panthers are underway. Polaris hesitates, takes a knee. So Carolina will start from their own 20-yard line. Right onto the field by the Heisman Trophy winner back in 2010 out of Auburn, Cam Newton.
Yeah, a lot of similar statistics this year to last year. Probably the biggest one we're seeing is really the rushing touchdowns. That's the one area that Cam Newton is down, and really the entire Carolina offense down in their rushing performance.
Jonathan Stewart, Malone back. 2 tight end set. First and 10 from the 20-yard line. Off the fake to Stewart. Newton off his back foot, throws, and the catch is made at the 34-yard line for a first down by the tight end Gary Barnidge.
Tell you, this is a heck of a throw by Cam Newton to get it started. Coming out, going play action right away. He's going to have a little bit of pressure in his face, so he's drifting back off his back foot, and the location of the throw is right on point.
Barnidge with his first reception of the season last week against Chicago, gains 13. Panthers up to the backfield. Stewart in motion. Play clock winding down. Newton sets on first down, and this pass is broken up. Intended for the tight end, Brett Olson. D'Angelo Hall got a hand on it. Panthers offense ranked 20th. Look at their offensive line.
And this has been one of the areas where they've kind of gotten out of sync. 5 starting line rotations during the course of the year. Last year it was an area where they only had 3, able to solidify that. And that's impacted the way these guys have played. This was the most explosive offense in the NFL last season when you look at 20-plus plays. Pretty good this year, but they're missing a lot of that in the run game again. That's an area where they've got to get things firing on all cylinders.
And without starting wide receiver Brandon LaFell today, Lewis Murphy in his spot. Inside handoff to Stewart. And Jonathan Stewart stays on his feet, picks up a first down. Finally tackled at the 44-yard line after a gain of 11. Redskins defense without a number of key pieces. They've struggled this year.
They really have, and it was injuries coming into the year on the back end at the safety position. Since that time, they've lost Adam Carricker and Brian Arakpo, so they have not performed at the level that the Redskins expected them to perform at this season. It has been difficult for them.
D'Angelo Williams in for Jonathan Stewart. Following Stewart's 11-yard run. And this is Williams who takes it up the middle. Out across the 48-yard line. Gain of 4.
We're getting a little bit of that running back by committee here right at the start of the game, and I've been impressed by the way, that Carolina's been able to make that work in the past. It seems like a couple of weeks ago they wanted to change. Jonathan Stewart was going to get the bulk of the snaps. They were doing it by matchup, but when you talk to Jonathan Stewart and you talk to D'Angelo Williams, they're able to make that running back by committee work. It looks like we're going to see a little bit more of that approach this afternoon.
Yeah, but I think both of those running backs want more time in the backfield, not only to get their rhythm going, but to go and help that offensive line out.
Newton throws on 2nd and 6, complete to Olsen for another Carolina first down. It's the third play of at least 10 yards on this drive as Olsen gains 13.
Greg Olsen's just a real solid guy at tight end, knows the system very, very well, matched up against London Fletcher. Great separation with a quick break right there. Pops open to Cam Newton, and I like the decision by Cam. He got to him right away. Again, when you're a down-the-field, big-play offense, you're going to have guys going deep. The one thing I've seen Cam over the last few weeks do is he's checking the ball down quicker. He's finding that secondary receiver when the deep threat is taken away.
From the 39, the fake to Stewart. Newton with time, he throws, and that pass was intended for Steve Smith.
And these are the ones that you got to take advantage of because, first of all, it's blocked well up front. Washington's going to bring a blitz, and the offensive line and the running backs, Jonathan Stewart's going to pick up his man, gives Cam Newton the time, and now you just got to finish the execution. Steve Smith on the route, comes inside, good swim over the top there to beat Josh Wilson out, but the ball's just not thrown to an area where Steve can go up and catch it.
2nd and 10 from the Redskins' 39-yard line. Play clock at 1. Inside handoff to Stewart. And Stewart gets tripped up, gains a couple. Brian Kerrigan along with Stephen Bowen on the tackle. So 3rd down and 8 upcoming for the Carolina Panthers.
And you got to have a red flag for the Redskins defense right here because there's certain areas where you've got to account for Cam Newton in the running game. One is the red zone, the other one right here on 3rd down. You look at his production. Haven't gotten it from the running backs. It's been all Cam Newton on 3rd down.
3 wide receivers set, 3rd down and 8. Panthers must get to the 29. Newton's pass is short. Olsen, the intended receiver. Perry Riley on the coverage.
You know, Darryl talked about bringing pressure in these situations, being aware of Cam. They go and they bring 6 linemen, 4 linemen and 2 linebackers on that play. Cam Newton has time. He doesn't have to rush himself in the pocket right there. He can take a little bit more time and get a better pass down the field. I think right now when he feels that pressure, he feels like he has to get rid of the ball earlier, and it's not on point.
Rookie Brad Nortman out of Wisconsin, punted from midfield. Brandon Banks will let it go. And it is down by Polaris at the 2-yard line. So a long field for the Redskins. Our first look today at RG3. Early first quarter, Redskins will start from their own 3-yard line. Chris Cooley shifts into the backfield on 1st down. Off the play fake to Alfred Morris. Pass intended for a diving Aldrick Robinson.
Really love this play call. You know, backed up, everybody's thinking conservative. You're going to go play action, coming off your own back end. Aldrick Robinson, the guy who's supposed to add a little bit of speed, you got to go down and make that catch. It's an aggressive play call coming out. You got to find a way to get your offense off their own back line.
I think Jimmy Johnson said it best in the pregame show about RG3 being on point and being very accurate. Just his receivers not catching the ball. We just saw it right there.
Jimmy called RG3 the most accurate rookie quarterback of all time. Very high praise. On 2nd down, play action once again from the end zone. Griffin looking for Chris Cooley. His 2nd game since returning to the Redskins. Washington offense ranked 6th in the National Football League.
Well, the question mark coming into the season, the offensive line, they've done a nice job and able to solidify, grow together the starting unit. Alfred Morris, what a great story he is as a rookie running back. But they're missing Pierre Garçon and Fred Davis. So one of the guys in the skill set, one of the wide receivers, somebody's got to step up and start making some plays, making some catches for Robert Griffin III.
Who has started the game 0 for 2. Third down and 10. From the end zone. Pass is caught by Joshua Morgan. Takes it out to the 8. Thomas Davis to tackle. And there is a flag. Penalty marker back in the end zone. Carl Cheffers, our referee.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 76. Defense for contact in the helmet of the quarterback. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down. That's on Greg Hardy, who had 3 sacks last week against Chicago.
Yeah, off to a great start. He's going to come in, contact to the head. You see right there, the hands right up to the face. Now, they've taken a look at that rule. It's a point of emphasis. You know, something that was accidental, that was just a brush by on the helmet, they're going to let that go. Last year, any blow to the head was going to be called, but you can see right there, Greg Hardy. They made it easy on the officials for that one right there. And that is, you know, that's a killer penalty, Tony, because your defense just came out and played 3 good downs, and you let the offense off the hook.
Yeah, you get off the field right there. That's just a dumb penalty.
And Hardy makes the tackle on Alfred Morris, 3rd leading rusher in the National Football League. Morris gains 2.
Well, the Carolina defense was the question mark coming into the season, but in my opinion, these guys have played well enough to win football games. The offense has got to pick up on their side. Luke Kuechly has moved into the middle linebacker position with the injury to John Beeson. I think that's a great fit. This secondary has played well. We lost Chris Gamble. Captain Munnerlyn has been playing that cornerback spot, playing it well over the last several weeks.
Second down and 8. On the option, it's Morris. Juan Edwards comes up to make the tackle. Alfred Morris, 6th round pick out of Florida Atlantic, the 14th running back chosen in the draft. And
very, very physical. He's got a great forward lean. He breaks a lot of tackles. A lot of those 719 yards are yards after contact. And you know, he grew up, his guys that he loved as running backs were guys from the Walt Creighton era, Marcus Allen. You know, he went back to that era of running backs, and was very impressed with his history of the league and his love of the game.
I love a guy like that. That's something to prove out there.
Third down and 6 off the fake to Morris. Pass is caught by Morgan at the 44-yard line for a Redskins first down.
And I think that when you implement this type of formation with this wishbone style inverted bone or the pistol, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense in the play action game right here. And usually that center of the field comes open. Joshua Morgan's going to come inside. They get safety help for the contact down by Haruki Nakamura. But I think that's the challenge that option game brings, is the play action that you can throw off.
In the pistol, the back lined up in the I formation behind the quarterback. We see it again here as Morris cuts to the outside and picks up another Redskins first down.
There you go, Darryl. Exactly what we talked about. A guy who's got to go out there and prove himself every down. Morris running. He first gets contact. Watch the yardage he gets after his first contact.
He's a perfect fit for this running game, Tony. It's an outside zone. You're running an angle, you're running a path, and then you're making one cut and you're getting north-south. And Alfred Morris does it very, very naturally.
He told us Friday, I refuse to let one person tackle me. It is a mindset. Morris gains 16. From the 41-yard line, the fake to Morris. And then Griffin throws, and the catch is made at the 29-yard line for another Washington first down by the tight end, Logan Paulson, a gain of 12.
I like the attention to detail. On this play fake right here, Robert Griffin III is going to pause. Watch him. Watch your quarterback. Fake the handoff. Little pause right there. Gets to the outside. There's nobody there. He's got a clear field of vision down the field to find his receiver.
I can't tell you how hard it is when a quarterback stops his motion and all of a sudden the play action is going away from you, how hard it is as a defensive lineman to find the ball again. Great job on that fake.
Redskins started this drive back at their own 3. Here's Griffin down to the 21-yard line. Josh Norman finally made the tackle. Some extracurricular activity coming out of the pile.
Well, this is one of the wrinkles in this option game that Washington has added that I really like. When you watch it on film, you get a lead back. You're actually getting a lead back in this situation. So now, not only do you have the quarterback coming down the line and you're trying to decipher, is he handing it off to the dive back or keeping it, you've got a lead back coming at you that kind of makes you hesitate for another second.
Second down and 2. Off the fake to Morris. Griffin to the outside. There is a flag as the catch was made at the 20-yard line by the fullback Darrell Young.
Holding, number 71, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
The left tackle, Trent Williams.
Trent Williams working against Greg Hardy, and I'm sure he saw him on film last week, that first half against the Bears. Greg Hardy was virtually unblockable. They had to alter their play calling in the second half. That defensive line of Carolina Panthers was getting to Jay Cutler.
Remember, it was Hardy's penalty which kept this drive alive. Redskins would have punted from deep in their own territory. 10th play of the drive as Griffin hands it off to Evan Royster out of Penn State. His first carry today. Juan Edwards on the tackle.
You know, Darryl, you talked about the pistol area earlier, and a lot of people at home, just to give a clarification on that, it's when the quarterback is in shotgun and the back is lined up behind him. That's what they're referring to as the pistol formation.
And it has worked very effectively for Mike Shanahan's Redskins this season. Montana Moss in motion, Royster in the backfield. Third down and 12. A quick out. Moss down to the 29. So the Redskins will send out the field goal unit.
Amazing what one penalty can do, Darryl, right?
Well, I mean, you get an example on both sides, right? You come out and play great complementary football. Your offense drives a little bit. Your punt team puts you deep. In the other end, your defense comes out, makes a 3 and out, and you have the penalty that extends this drive. And then Washington gets to see the impact of the penalty with what Trent Williams' holding call did.
Well, here's Kai Forbath. A 47-yard attempt. High snap. Forbath's 4th game since replacing Billy Cundiff. And he gives the Redskins a 3-0 lead. Redskins, a 12-play, 68-yard drive, which was kept alive by that Greg Hardy personal foul on Robert Griffin III.
Yeah, you've done everything right. Your offense comes out and gets a little bit of a drive going. Your punt team comes out and does a great job of really kind of pinning the opposition back deep. Defense does a 3 and out, and then you have the hands to the face penalty, a hit on the quarterback, and it extends that drive. And I mean, anywhere on the field, I mean, penalties, there's a few things that we talk about from week to week, and really penalties are one of the things that disrupt drives. They're awful in the red zone, and again, turnovers. Those are 2 of the bigger things that the teams have to get a control on.
Yeah, instead of having a 3 and out, you go 12 plays on that drive. I mean, the one thing when you look back at last week with the Bears, they came out and had a great first half. We talked about it in the open, 6 sacks, and they fizzled out in the second half. You know, you want to stay off the field as a defense and stay fresh. Going from 3 and out, now you got 12 plays under your belt. You know, that defense has really, you know, suffered from that penalty.
D'Angelo Hall holding for Kai Forbath. A chance here for Polaris. He's across the 25, stumbles down at the 32. Good field position for Cam Newton and the Panthers offense when we return. For the Redskins, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Cam Newton and the Panthers start from their own 41-yard line. Jonathan Stewart bottled up, gains just 1. Panthers have lost 5 in a row, but last week in Chicago, their offense put up some pretty good numbers, over 400 total yards, and they controlled the ball for nearly 37 minutes.
It was a very impressive performance against a very good defense, and just that one mistake at the end of the game, you control the game almost for the entire 60 minutes, and then Chicago scores 2 touchdowns in 8 seconds, and it's so amazing how quickly it can slip through your fingers.
Empty backfield, second down and 9. Newton to Smith. And Steve Smith tackled at the 40. Gain of 8, setting up third down and 1.
A defense for Washington trying to make adjustments. Jonathan Stewart motioned out of the backfield and was uncovered all the way out to the right-hand side. Something they're going to have to fix here.
Panthers with some big plays on their opening drive, but were forced to punt. They were very effective on third down last week, over 50% against Chicago. Inside handoff, and Stewart is off the fake. It was Stewart, and Newton picks up the first down. You talked about
how good the fake was
on third down this year, and they come up with a terrific fake and move the chains.
Yeah, I still would have probably put him under center on this situation, though. You know, he's got the ball, 4.5, 5 yards deep on a third and very, very short. So some good effort by Cam Newton there. I thought Washington had it defended well, but he's a big man. I think that is the problem that he presents to the defense, his size and his strength. He's so hard to bring down.
Williams in the backfield, the fake to Williams. Newton on first down, looking for the tight end.
On that Green Bay offense have been battling some injuries here of late, but it seems like there's always somebody behind to step up and make plays.
Good start for the Packers today. Second down and 10 for Carolina. Stewart in the backfield. 3 wide receivers set. Newton hands it off to Stewart. And Jonathan Stewart crosses midfield, a first down and more. He is finally tackled at the Redskins 40 by Reed Dowdy, a gain of 17.
When you're going to play a 3-4 defense, which is what the Redskins are, you're going to have to be able to get out on the edge. Byron Bell, big 77, pulls and loops out. And when those linebackers come up, they're not going to take on a big tackle. They're going to try and get down and clog up that hole. But Byron Bell does a nice job of being able to get that mess out of the running lane so the running back has a clear path.
Williams back in for Stewart. From the 40, it's Newton after the fake to Williams. And Newton dives ahead. And is close to another Carolina first down. He has it.
Yeah, they got everybody running on this one. You watch this watch the flow of the Redskin defense. Everybody going with the fake there. Look at Cam Newton coming out the back door. Reed Dowdy, number 37 there. He was probably the person with backside contained. Even he got 2 to 3 steps going to his right.
I think they would have had success even if they handed that ball off. That defense was outflanked. They had a tight end outside. And the defensive end was over the tackle.
Final minute, first quarter. First and 10 from the Redskins 30. D'Angelo Williams. And Williams stepped out of bounds. Williams tiptoeing down the sideline.
There he is going down the sideline. Keep an eye on that right foot. I didn't see him step out of bounds at all. That's a touchdown.
I did not.
We heard the whistle as Williams ran down the near sideline. The officials now getting together. Most of the players stopped when the whistle was blown.
A little bit different than if we had a touchdown to see if somebody stepped out of bounds, because that's going to be reviewed. There you go.
It has been ruled a touchdown.
You know, in the beginning there, if they would have ruled him out of bounds, you would have had the challenge to do all that. When you rule touchdown here, because every scoring play is under review to be confirmed, you'd be able to go back and take a look and make sure he did not step out of bounds, which is what we're going to see right here.
Yeah, they have to call this a touchdown. I mean, he didn't even come close to that white line at all.
He's really not, Tony. But
I know what Kenny was saying. I did hear a whistle. I don't know if it was from the officials or from the stands.
Yeah, it may have come from the stands, Tony, because
a lot of the players did stop.
Yeah, a number of players on the field stopped right around the time Williams came close along the sideline. But it has been ruled a touchdown. Justin Medlock, the extra point. The Carolina Panthers have taken the lead. 7-3 over the Redskins. Touchdown run. There was definitely a whistle blown, but it has been ruled a touchdown. A 7-play, 69-yard Carolina Panthers drive.
And again, a lot of that due to the running game. The running game really kind of jump-starting this offense here this afternoon.
Oh, right, drive kick.
Redskins will start from the 20. One more look. D'Angelo Williams down the near sideline. 7-3 Carolina.
Just walked off to check out some stuff, but that's why there are no egos in that group. You know, when you talk about D'Angelo Williams and Mike Tolbert and Jonathan Stewart, they just want to see each other have success.
You'll win with those three guys.
Here's Alfred Morris, wrapped up by fellow rookie Luke Kuechly. Let's watch and listen as well to the Williams touchdown.
You can definitely hear that whistle. D'Angelo Williams so good at working the sideline that even Tom Simonette didn't think he could stay in bounds.
Tom Simonette, the line judge. We'll continue to discuss when we return. 7-3 Panthers after one. 7-3 lead for the Carolina Panthers as we begin the second quarter. Second down and 6 for the Redskins from their own 24-yard line. Alfred Morris. Morris has a Redskins first down. Well, getting back to that Panthers touchdown, we bring in Mike Pereira, our rules analyst from Los Angeles. Mike, I assume you heard the whistle as well on our replay?
Yeah, I did. You know, he blew it erroneously. Sometimes you anticipate things when you should have. Nobody is going to feel worse than he is when he actually sees this on replay. But, you know, it's clear that he did react and kill the clock and blew the whistle, and you have to stay with it, even though you know you might be wrong. It is the NFL. Even though you made a mistake on the field, you got to suck it up and live up to it, and he didn't.
Another first down for Morris. Thanks very much, Mike.
Well, you know, talking about that play, you know, the officials should have let him go and not blown the whistle, let it score. They put the ruling last year, all scoring plays are reviewed, and that's the reason why.
But the good thing right now is that's in the past, Goose. You're moving
Absolutely.
on, and Washington has come out, and they've got a nice little drive going here. Leading out Alfred Morris, yeah.
He's running like a beast.
Averaging 7.5 per carry today. Movement prior to the snap.
False start, number 84, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Tight end Niles Paul. Redskins force back 5 yards. Now first down and 15 from their own 40. White clock winding down. And the Redskins forced to use a timeout.
Washington.
Panthers over the Redskins. 7-3. Busy week coming up in our nation's capital. Here in Landover, Maryland. Panthers with a 7-3 lead. Early second quarter following the timeout. First down and 15. Off the fake to Morris. Oh, a big hit. And a flag. Haruki Nakamura with the hit on Joshua Morgan.
This route has popped up twice for Joshua Morgan, and he's taken 2 big hits each time. So the coverage that Carolina is playing, they've got this play defended.
Personal foul, number 43, defense, for illegal contact on a defenseless receiver. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
I got to show this to you in real time first so you can see. It's easy for us to pick this play apart once we come back and see it in slow motion. But again, remember, it's not just helmet to helmet, it's helmet, shoulder, forearm to the head of a defenseless player. So Haruki Nakamura does a good job keeping the helmet out, but the shoulder comes in and hits the head.
From the Carolina 45, it's Morris.
Man, he is tough.
Well, as we mentioned, he was the 14th running back selected in the draft last April.
Yeah, and let's go back and take a look at the first running back taken overall. 3rd overall in the draft, Trent Richardson out of Alabama. Look at that production. Alfred Morris doing a great job being a gem in the 6th round for the Washington Redskins. And you know what? Kind of similar running styles with both of those guys. Trent Richardson also a physical runner.
Evan Royster in for Morris. On 2nd and 5, the toss to Royster with the fullback Young leading the way. And Royster gains 2 down to the Carolina 39. And we saw Morris's numbers compared to Richardson, but in the entire league, he is 3rd in rushing this season. Only Adrian Peterson and Marshawn Lynch have gained more yards on the ground than Alfred Morris.
Yeah, 2 other guys, very physical with their running style. And don't forget, when Alfred Morris came here, he was number 4 on the depth chart as preseason started. You had Tim Hightower, you had Roy Halute Jr., and you had Evan Royster there. So he's had to work his way through all those different guys to get that starting spot. Very impressive.
3rd down and 4. Logan throws, but play is blown dead.
Logan Paulson a little bit early. He was in motion.
Number 82, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You got to stay parallel to the line of scrimmage when you come across in motion. They're working on Alfred Morris over there on the side. Watch, he's just going to get a little bit of a forward lean right here. That's all it takes.
Just getting a look at his shoulder right there.
Medical staff continuing to work on Morris. 3rd down and 9. Redskins must get to the 35 for a first down. Griffin steps up, running away from Hardy. And then he is tackled by Hardy. 2 yards shy of the marker.
Carolina Panthers slow getting up right now. It's a big collision over there. A lot of people converging on the football. Looks like Thomas Davis may be down.
Yeah, I think he hit Greg Hardy. See Hardy here 58. On your left-hand side.
Thomas Davis attempting to walk it off. Redskins leave their offense out on 4th down and 3. Redskins 8 for 9 this season on 4th down. And this play is blown dead.
First charge timeout, Carolina.
Ron Rivera using his first timeout.
Go back and take a look at the collision at the end of that play. 58 Thomas Davis. You wonder if Josh Norman catches him there. He goes up and over the top, and watch how he lands, like right on that tailbone. Also on the right side, kind of, but he goes and reaches for that knee. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Carolina Panthers, Thomas Davis has had 3 ACL reconstructions on that right knee. That's why he's wearing that heavy brace. So good to see him walking around on the sideline. Hopefully it's just that little right butt cheek that he landed on.
Yeah, but he needs to get some padding on that. He has no knee pads.
And then there's Alfred Morris. He's still on the sideline. He took a hit after that run. They were checking him out on the sideline. You'll see him here on his last run.
That's why you got to keep your head up. You're a young kid and you're a running back. Make sure you keep your face mask head up so you can see everything you hit.
On 4th down and 3, Joshua Morgan picks up the first. So the Redskins now 9 for 10 this season, Darrell, on 4th down.
That is so impressive. I mean, you're at 90%, and you've gone 10 times on 4th down. It's a tremendous vote of confidence for this offense. Two options right there. Robert Griffin III, that's going to make an easy read for him. Is it Logan Paulson who pops open right away, or do I want to hold it for a tick and work Joshua Morgan coming into that empty spot?
New set of downs for Washington. From the Panthers 32 off the fake. The Royster, a spectacular catch is made by Morgan.
Can't get any better coverage than that right there.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, because this is that play action that we talked about, Tony, how difficult it is for the safeties. But this is just a heck of a catch in some heavy traffic, back shoulder. Josh Norman draped all over you.
Great concentration by Morgan at getting that ball and bringing it to his body and holding on.
Redskins in the red zone from the 19-yard line. Off the fake to Royster. Griffin hit as he throws, and the pass is nearly picked off by James Anderson.
Robert Griffin III is completely exposed on this throw, and he's going to take a big hit from Haruki Nakamura. James Anderson for the Panthers down.
Haruki does a nice job. You see him right there. He's spying. He sees that he's going to get blocked, and then he just decides to come. Nice job. Wraps it up. Now, you're not going to get a penalty on that one right there. He's an aggressive player, hard-nosed guy. Affects the throw right there with an opportunity for Anderson to go and get an interception.
Nakamura, the former Raven. Good news for the Redskins. Morris has returned. And Thomas Davis back in for the Panthers. On 2nd and 10, the toss to Morris. And he's forced out of bounds by Davis after a short gain.
Luke Kuechly has got such natural instincts at that middle linebacker spot, and it's so difficult. And a lot of people talk about the feel he has, because you've got to make your way through and around some pretty big bodies when you're talking about the offensive and defensive linemen on that field. And everybody you talk to says he's just got this knack. He can find his way through. He takes great angles from that middle linebacker spot, moving from sideline to sideline.
And as a rookie, man, you got to know everybody's position on the line of scrimmage, linebackers, and the secondary also to know where you fit. With a quarterback on that defense.
Griffin on 3rd and 9. Underneath, Evan Royster is close. Remember, our yellow line is unofficial.
Looks like, yeah, they got the signal for 4th down, so Washington's going to have to do it again on this drive. Go for it on 4th down. They're keeping the offense out. Here comes Alfred Morris, Darrell Young, Chris Cooley.
So instead of attempting a short field goal of 27 yards, Mike Shanahan going with the percentages. They are 9 for 10 this season, including converting on a 4th and 3 earlier this drive. And now a timeout is taken. We'll be back. 4th down and 1. 3 Panthers, 4th down and inches for the Redskins. From the Panthers' 9-yard line. It is the fullback, Darrell Young, and he picks up a Redskins first down. Make it 10 for 11 on 4th down, 2 for 2 today.
And just so many different ways that they've been able to convert on those 4th downs. Just the 2 that we've seen today, very, very different. An inside quick handoff to your fullback, a shotgun snap to your quarterback, throwing the ball. That is so impressive, the success that Washington has had on 4th down.
Yeah, you got so many weapons on that offense. Defensively, you don't know what to do. Right there, they were just in a based offense, a based defense.
Greg Hardy helped off the field. Both Thomas Davis and James Anderson have returned for Carolina, but now they lose Hardy. Replaced by Nate Chandler, who was activated off the practice squad just last week. First and goal for RG3 of the Redskins from the 7. the 5. Hard to bring him down. Morris takes it all the way to the Carolina 2.
I love the way this guy runs, Darryl. They got zone blocking up front to the left-hand side. He goes, but he sees a crease, and he just plants his foot and comes vertical. Watch this right here. See how they're getting everybody down the line of scrimmage. They get the crease, boom. Now he's vertical, drops the shoulder. Look how he protects the ball. 2 hands on the ball so they can't rip it out. I mean, fundamentally, that's textbook right there.
Redskins looking to catch the Panthers, making personnel changes. And Carolina forced to call timeout as RG3 of the Redskins hustled up to the line.
They've been close a couple of times here on this drive down in this part of the field. A couple of the 4th downs, they caught Carolina thinking, and they got caught here again as well.
Panthers trying to make a line change.
I don't think the Washington Redskins substituted anybody, so they don't have to wait. They were forced to call the timeout. They will allow people to match substitution, but Washington kept the same personnel on there. So Carolina was not going to get any help from the referees.
Each team down to 1 timeout remaining. 3 tight ends in for the Redskins. On 2nd and goal, the toss to Morris, tried to get it back inside of the crunch, right into the arms of Thomas Davis, along with Frank Alexander.
Nice job by that defensive line.
This is a great textbook tackle here, Tony. So for all you young guys out there that want to be a linebacker, I want you to watch number 58 right here, coming from the backside. Watch him come across, square up in the hole, and deliver the hit.
Boom. That's how you plug a hole right there, man.
That's excellent.
Nice job by the rest of the team also. Just doesn't mean he's going to go and get him down. Wrap him up, coming off the sideline too. Davis.
Now the Redskins sent in 4 wide receivers. They had 3 tight ends and a fullback on the last play. 3rd and goal. This is Brandon Banks. And Banks is tackled inside the 2.
Well, if you've gone for it on 4th down twice on this drive already, you would expect them to go for it again here. Looks like the offense is staying out. Brandon Banks is jogging off. Evan Royster's going on the field.
Redskins 2 for 2 on this drive on 4th down. 10 for 11 this season. On 4th down, RG3 looking to take it in himself, and he cannot. Charles Johnson comes up to make the tackle, and the Redskins are stopped on 4th down.
Josh Thompson makes that play. Nice job on the outside to turn everybody back in. Watch him right down at the bottom. 22. 2-2. Guys, keeps pushing. Nice.
Terrific job by Josh Thomas and the Panthers defense, stopping the Redskins on 4th and goal. Now it's the Panthers from their own 2-yard line as Newton hands it off to Mike Tolbert.
It was an aggressive play call, but I would have liked to have seen a passing option. This is Josh Morgan out here. Now he's going to come down and crack, so right away you know there's no pass element here. This is a straight quarterback run. There's 22 Josh Thomas that Tony talked about, stuffing that whole play, and then look at the pursuit. So when Robert Griffin III got over there, there was nobody coming across. Santana Moss was out wide, but he was not dragging across. A straight called QB run with great defense left Robert Griffin III with no option.
Well, the Carolina lead remains 7-3. Panthers scoring a controversial touchdown earlier as Newton connects with Tolbert. Out of bounds just shy of the 10-yard line.
You know, Darryl, we looked at it before. Pre-game warm-up, Tolbert, the size of him. You know, he goes and catches this ball, gets into the secondary. If you're a defensive back, that is not the guy you want to see running with the ball in the secondary.
No, I would dump the ball off to him in the flat over and over and just see, you know, who wants to come tackle this big guy. And he's got great feet. We saw him in Chicago last week on an underneath route, which is great feet for a guy his size.
4 years with the Chargers, he was a touchdown machine. 3rd down and 2. Newton on the keeper. Cam Newton picks up a 1st down out to the 22-yard line.
I don't know what Washington was doing on that play. They lined up 4 guys to the left-hand side. They gave an open lane right up the middle where Cam Newton did a nice job of getting the ball and just, run it up. I think, maybe I could even ran that play.
I don't think it was that well blocked.
It's close. Everybody's a comedian on TV, I'll tell you.
But it's that element, Tony, and that's what Washington's defense, the challenge for them will be to be recognizing the third down scenarios. Once you get into the red zone, you have to know when they rely on Cam Newton in the running game.
They set it down for Carolina from the 21. Newton being chased by Barrett Cofield. And Newton will take it 4 yards out to the 25-yard line. In Cam Newton and RG3 today, it's the first time in NFL history starting quarterbacks who are back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners started in the NFL against one another the next season. First time ever.
They both made a huge impact on their franchises. I mean, Carolina last year, I don't think anybody expected them to be as dynamic as they were. A lot of that, the result of that man right there, Cam Newton. And RG3, Robert Griffin III, doing the same thing for the Washington Redskins this year.
Second down at 6. Newton, not much.
See, and this is where I think they're different. Everybody wants to draw the comparisons to Cam Newton and Robert Griffin III, but Robert Griffin III he's a flat-out speedster. So when he's running that read keep in the option, he's a big playmaker. I think that Cam Newton is more like a Ben Roethlisberger. He's in the pocket. You think you got him wrapped up. All of a sudden, everybody relaxes. He breaks contain, and now he's down the field running. And he was slow getting up, and now he's kind of looking at his hands after that last tackle.
And he'll have a couple of minutes to think ahead to the third down play as we hit the 2-minute warning.
Saw some blood on the right thumb and then also on the pant.
Here's Newton Darrell on 3rd down and 6. And the catch is made by Greg Olsen for a Panthers first down.
Well, whatever the injury was, it didn't affect his touch on that throw because he had some Redskin defenders underneath. Greg Olsen got it over the top of them and then dropped it in for the conversion.
18-yard connection. Under 2 minutes remaining, second quarter. See the blood on that right pant leg of Cam Newton as the Panthers continue their drive. They have 1 timeout remaining and a 7-3 lead. On their own 42. Newton in trouble, and he gets rid of it. He was wrapped up by Stephen Bowen, able to get it to Jonathan Stewart. So Newton turns a negative play into a positive.
Well, this is a great play. Amini Sulatolu gets beat right away by Stephen Bowen. He gets on his upfield shoulder. Cam Newton to have the presence to find Jonathan Stewart under that much duress, get him the flip and make a positive play out of that.
Heads up by Jonathan Stewart, too.
We got some tough running backs in this game. We talked about Alfred Morris, Jonathan Stewart. I mean, he's got 5-6 guys on him right there.
Second down and 4. Newton to the outside, intended for Steve Smith. Cedric Griffin on the coverage. And a penalty marker.
For contact to the helmet. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
We saw one of these earlier in the game, and it was very easy when we had Greg Hardy versus Robert Griffin III. We'll see what this one is here. Some of the Redskins saying that they don't like that call. Now, there is a difference this season, whether it was an inadvertent, an accidental. London Fletcher got there late. Cam Newton sold it very, very well.
That's Hollywood right there.
Oh, a huge penalty. 4th Redskins penalty of this first half. Gives the Panthers a 1st and 10 from the Washington 37. Newton looks to run, stays on his feet, and is down at the 34-yard line. Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Panthers with 1 timeout remaining. Newton to the outside, it's Olsen. 3rd catch of the game for former Chicago Bear. Olsen gains 8. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. The Bears defense does it again. 2 more touchdowns. And rookie quarterbacks going at it in Indy. All coming up on the Visa halftime report. Panthers driving. 1:14 remaining. 2nd quarter, the Carolina defense stopped the Redskins on 4th and goal. And now the Panthers look to extend their lead. 10th play of the drive from the Redskins, 26. On 1st down, Josh Wilson getting a hand on that Newton pass, and there is another penalty marker down.
This is going to be interesting because I thought it was inside 5 yards. Was the ball in the air?
Wilson not happy.
Pass interference, number 26, defense, automatic, 1st down.
Go down here at the bottom of the screen. Steve Smith working against Josh Wilson. I don't like that call. And to me, you kind of set the tone early. How are you going to call pass interference? I thought that was 2 guys. You kind of set the tone early. How are you going to call pass interference? I thought that was 2 guys competing for the football. I agree with Mike Shanahan on this. And now you've got to stay consistent. So everybody, wide receiver, secondary, understand how they're going to call the game. Carl Cheffers and his crew are going to do it differently today. They're going to be very, very tight on the outside.
Another big penalty called on the Redskins defense from the 19-yard line. Newton's pass is high, intended for Polaris. With 1:08 remaining, clock stops, 2nd down and 10 upcoming.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Cam Newton, that play, he had a lot of time to go and get that ball outside, but after the throw, he's looking down at his hand. Maybe it's affecting him more and more. You can see him right here. See how he's looking at his hand after you threw that ball down?
Yeah, you can see the blood on the hand, on his pants right now. So it looks like his thumbnail is split.
Derek Anderson, veteran, 43 career starts, is the backup quarterback. 2nd down and 10. Newton fires downfield away from Smith.
You always hear the quarterbacks talk about, the thumb. When it's the thumb, it's a bigger issue because that's the stability on the bottom of the football in your grip. You can work around some of the fingers, but it looks like he may have split that thumbnail. And that's definitely going to be an issue with his control and his ability to squeeze that ball.
Blood all over his pants, top of his jersey. 3rd down and 10. 3 receivers plus the tight end Olsen from the 19-yard line. Newton throws, looking for Smith. And for Steve Smith, that is his 1st touchdown this season.
Well, when you talk about the offensive struggles of Carolina throughout the season, for that to be Steve Smith's 1st touchdown of the year, you know it's an issue. Matched up again with Josh Wilson, inside release, then to the outside.
What timing he had, huh, Darryl?
Got to get your head around, right?
Wow.
Josh Wilson's just got to be able to turn around and find that ball. Comes right over the top of his head.
Steve Smith just knows when to go up at the ball. He doesn't give him any kind of signal that the ball is coming. Great timing.
So the Panthers defense with a huge stop on 4th and goal, and then their offense drives 98 yards, longest Carolina drive this season. Every scoring play automatically reviewed. Carl Cheffers has received word from upstairs that we'd like him to take a look at it just to make sure.
Let's go through the 3 steps. Possession, 2 feet down, and then all the way through.
It's good.
It's like a touchdown.
Steve Smith, 5-time Pro Bowler, over 700 career receptions. In game 8 for the Carolina Panthers, his 1st touchdown this season, and certainly looks to us like it will not be overturned.
No, he's got all three. Had the possession, feet down, and then maintained possession through the entire process. But I mean, the fact that that is Steve Smith's first touchdown this year shows you, how difficult it's been offensively for the Carolina Panthers this year.
We heard the guys in the pregame show talking about Megatron. Calvin Johnson only one touchdown this year.
They're taking a long time watching this replay for Steve Smith's touchdown right here. I don't know what they're thinking about.
It sure looks like he maintains possession all the way through the catch.
Yeah.
Take a look at it one more time. I mean, he's got possession. He gets his feet down. Now, you remember some of these plays where you got to maintain possession all the way to the ground and through the process. I mean, you can look at it right there, but the hands are underneath. He's got control of the ball.
Mike Brewer with us from Los Angeles. Mike, what do you think?
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. His hands were on the ball, and the ball was within his control throughout the entire process of the catch. Touchdown.
Mike, you agree? And we apologize for the technical difficulties, but we are told that Mike does agree with us and with the call. It is a Carolina touchdown. Here is Justin Medlock. The extra point. Panthers now lead 14-3. Well, the aftermath of natural disasters like Superstorm Sandy, the American Red Cross provides life-saving services such as meals, shelter, and mobilizing resources and workers nationwide. Visit redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90999 to give a $10 donation. Earlier this week, the NFL and the NFL Players Association jointly pledged $1 million to the American Red Cross to aid in relief and recovery efforts in the Northeast.
They did a tremendous job. Being from New Jersey, we have a couple guys on our crew from New Jersey. I was over on that island where you saw the destruction all week on every news channel there was, and the Red Cross was there on Tuesday, and they had a load of people helping everybody get off the island and bring in supplies. They do a tremendous job, and so if you're thinking about donating, please donate to the Red Cross. A wonderful, wonderful job of taking care of people that are in distress.
I mean, it's been amazing, Tony, because it's not just the people along the shore, Staten Island, and the areas that we see on TV, but then inland also, how the power's been off. I mean, several of the guys on our crew just getting power back this morning or late last night.
Short squid kick, huh?
Yep, short kick taken by Banks. Banks spins away. There is a flag. Banks brings it out to the 17.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 37 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's on Reed Doughty. Reed celebrating his 30th birthday today.
That's going to back this offense up to the 5-yard line.
An offense, Goose, that drove 78 yards, 16 plays on their last possession.
Only have 49 seconds on this one, though, Kenny.
And they converted 2 fourth downs, but then stopped on 4th and goal. From the 5. Pass is caught out of the 15-yard line. Redskins with 1 timeout remaining. Under 40 seconds.
I tell you, Logan Paulson has done a nice job. They lost Fred Davis, and he's a big playmaker at the tight end spot, but I think he surprised some of the Redskins about his ability to play that tight end spot. He's been good this afternoon and good last week against Pittsburgh.
That pass, Darrell, intended for Paulson in his 3rd season out of UCLA. Clock stops, 18 seconds remaining. Once the clock hits 0, here's a halftime report from Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee and the gang. What a day once again for the Chicago Bears defensive unit. And the rookie quarterbacks, Andrew Luck, Ryan Tannehill, battling it out in Indianapolis. Dolphins lead that game 17-10 as the Redskins keep it on the ground with Evan Royster And that will do it for the first half. The Carolina Panthers, losers of 5 consecutive games, lead the Washington Redskins. There's Steve Smith. Moments ago, his first touchdown reception of the season. 14-3 lead over Mike Shanahan's Washington Redskins. So we will now send it to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. It is the Visa halftime report. Kurt? Welcome back. Carolina Panthers lead the Washington Redskins 14-3 as we get set to start the third quarter. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Redskins will get the ball first. Steve Smith, late touchdown in the second quarter. Redskins, Darryl, controlled the ball for nearly 18 minutes, but trailed by 11.
Now that big drive where they converted 2 fourth downs, but then missed on 4th and goal. So this afternoon, it hasn't been how long you've had the ball. It's what you've done when you've gotten a hold of it. Carolina, very impressive, taking it 99 yards down the field for a touchdown right before the end of half.
Brandon Banks will take it out. Banks for the 20. Big swing towards the end of that second quarter, Darryl, as you just mentioned. RG3 stopped on 4th and goal, and then the Panthers drive the length of the field.
Well, I think the big thing we have to see here in the second half is Ron Rivera said that looking back at some of the close losses, there were opportunities for him to be more aggressive with his play calling, offensively, defensively, and even special teams. Does he still take that same attitude into the second half here with the lead? They were very efficient in the first half, exampled by that long drive, but does he still keep that aggressive play calling mentality that he wanted to start the game with?
Redskins start from the 22-yard line off the play fake. It's Joshua Morgan. Morgan with his 5th reception today. Josh Thomas able to knock him out of bounds. Gain of just 1. RG3 in the first half, 9 of 13, 73 yards. 15 yards on the ground on 3 carries. Second down at 9. Redskins with a record of 3-5. As Morris found a big hole, picks up a first down and more. Finally stopped at the 42-yard line. Alfred Morris gains 18, his biggest run today.
This is the bread and butter play in this offense, and you're going to press an angle, and then it's a one cut and gone. And he does this very, very well. He's pressing, and then once it's open, he's through the hole and into the secondary.
The good job that the offensive lineman's doing is they have the defensive lineman cut on the ground, so it makes it easy for Morris to go and find that area to run through.
Biggest play of the day for the Redskins offense. Number 41. Good job by Keekly coming up to make the tackle on Morris Goose.
You know, just 3 things we talked about in the open that Carolina, you know, watching their defense, they need to do. And I think they got pretty much all of them except for, you know, Morris containing him here. We saw it in a couple plays earlier. Is, you know, stopping the run, is going and making sure that slow the run down so you don't get that play action. You know, don't lose contain on RG3. I think the defense has done a great job. They're pursuing real well. They're keeping them in front of them. They're doing the things they need to do. And they are taking some chances. I see a lot more blitzes than I did last week. And they're containing them. There's RG3 on the outside, though.
Thought you were going to go into some play-by-play, Goose. Let's hear it.
Well, a little bit, Kenny. Trying to help you out any way I can, buddy.
It's Logan Paulson who makes the catch for a gain of 14.
I don't know. It looked like it hit the ground here where I was looking from. Let's see the replay right here.
It was ruled a reception.
I don't know.
Redskins hurry up to the line. And here comes the red challenge flag for Ron Rivera. Redskins nearly able to get the snap off.
Now remember, this rule changed several years ago from a playoff game involving St. Louis. I don't know if there's going to be enough to change what's been called on the field. I don't think the ground aided Logan Paulson in securing that catch.
And
looks like it definitely hit the ground.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. We'll review the play.
Yeah, he had both hands on each tip of that ball.
Ruled a catch on the field. Carl Jeffers will take a look at 14-3 as we head down towards the Capitol building. Ron Rivera's first challenge of the season as he awaits the call from Carl Jeffers.
Yeah, and I thought maybe he might have wasted it, but Mike Pereira, you think that this is going to be overturned, it's going to be ruled incomplete.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I think it is, because he gets control of the ball simultaneously, really, with it hitting the ground there. And to me, it's not like he had clear possession first and then the ball hit the ground. So if I'm under the hood, I actually reverse this to using the ground to complete the catch.
The ball hit the ground prior to being in the receiver's control. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 10 at the 41-yard line. Carolina will not be charged with a timeout.
That's a nice job.
Yeah. You've done this before, right, Mike? That's not your first rodeo. That was impressive.
I think I have. Yeah, I think I have. It's one of those, it's a tight play, but I think it's pretty clearly incomplete.
Well done. Well done.
Very nice tie. Also, too, Mike.
Thank you very much. I borrowed it from your closet.
I don't own any ties, Mike. You didn't get out of my closet. Maybe Daryl's.
Ron Rivera celebrates. He's perfect. 1 for 1 now on challenges. Giants, the only other team that has not thrown the challenge flag this year, coming into this game.
But I agree with you. I think he was second-guessing himself as we went away to commercial break. So ends up being a good challenge by Ron Rivera.
So it is 3rd down and 10 from the 41-yard line. Redskins empty the backfield. They must get to the Carolina 49 for a first down. Griffin moving to his right, wrapped up. Down he goes. Charles Johnson. Now with 6.5 sacks this season.
And that's just with 4 down rushers, Tony. That's one thing that you always talk about. Charles Johnson working the outside against Tyler Columbus, and as soon as Robert Griffin III tries to escape, and the impressive thing there, they're not getting beyond the pocket. That's the one thing you can't do against Robert Griffin III.
Sav Rocca punting for the first time today. Fair catch called for by Captain Mutterland. Washington Redskins in their throwback 1937 uniforms and helmets, trailing Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers 14-3. Panthers start from their 17-yard line. Newton throws, and it's Greg Olsen, his favorite target in the first half. 4th catch today, gain of 4.
Look at how the quarterbacks did in the first half.
Last 2 Heisman Trophy winners, and yes, Cam did vote for Robert. All the past Heisman winners have a vote every year after they win. Cam said this week, of course I voted for him. 2nd down and 6 from the 22. A late handoff, and Stephen Bowen able to bring down D'Angelo Williams. We talked about Newton's thumb in the first half. Still see that blood on the front of his jersey.
We'll see if it has an impact on him here in the second half. But what I was impressed with in the first half was the production in the running game. And when you talk about Cam Newton and D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart all had over 30 yards rushing. And that's different than they've been this season. So I thought that was one of the reasons that they were having some success of being so efficient.
3rd down and 4. And Newton's pass could not be handled by Olsen. Perry Riley on the coverage. So the Panthers go 3 and out for the first time today.
Greg Olsen, number 88, and see if this is down low and on that back hip. Yeah, he's got to make that catch. In a critical 3rd down, you got to make that catch.
Panthers with touchdowns on their previous 2 possessions. Nortman punting for the 2nd time. Brandon Banks back deep for Washington. Banks lets it bounce. And a terrific job Getting downfield by Josh Thomas. RG3 and the Redskins offense back out, trailing by 11. With producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Redskins back to work, trailing 14-3. From the 23-yard line, off the play fake, Griffin fires downfield, and the catch is made for a Washington Redskins first down by Leonard Hankerson, a 25-yard pass play.
Here again, this is a play-action pass out of that pistol formation with the running back behind, but you're getting great pass protection right here. I mean, it's the kind of the formation you're seeing, but now they're going to bring those guys both over and secure Greg Hardy. It's good design. It makes the defense think so much, and now all of a sudden you drag that receiver from the opposite side of the field into that voided middle area.
Pistol formation with three backs. Griffin running the option. Slides to the 43-yard line of Carolina. About a yard shy of the first down, a gain of 9 for Robert Griffin III.
And they got out to the outside. Watch, we're going to do the ride first. There's your first mesh. Pull that one. Charles Johnson goes inside. Now you got Thomas Davis out in the area where you can't be right. You got one guy to guard two players. And I don't know, I think I would have gone after Robert Griffin III first. There's some speed there. They can make a big play.
Three backs once again. The toss to Joshua Morgan. And Morgan has another Redskins first down.
So we've seen on 3 separate plays with virtually the same formation and same personnel. Now we're going to get pitch. Watch this one. First mesh is going to go through. Ride that now. As James Anderson comes down on quarterback, we got to get it out quick to Joshua Morgan. So we've seen option to the pitchback. We've seen the pitchback and quarterback get on the edge with the quarterback keep it, and we've seen dives. So, and don't forget the play action that started the drive. A lot of pressure on that Carolina defense.
Now Morris, the lone back, out of the pistol formation. Off the fake to Morris. Griffin sets, moving to his right. Can't find anyone, gets away from Johnson and Hardy. And is out of bounds inside the 30. Griffin gaining 6.
Robert Griffin does a good job of going and keeping his eyes downfield when he's scrambling out of the pocket.
So 2nd and 5 upcoming. Call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game. From the Carolina 28. Again, it's Griffin with the toss. Desmond Briscoe. First carry of the season. There is a flag. As Briscoe picked up a first down, penalty marker at the 27.
The guys are coming from everywhere. Now this is your first mesh
Illegal
on that one.
Back, number 47, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Chris Cooley, illegal block in the back.
I'm very impressed by the design that Kyle Shanahan has with his offense and the execution by the guys for the Washington Redskins. I mean, we've seen that same formation with different personnel in it, and we've seen different responsibilities by each position. So as a defense, I've got pitch, I've got dive. Now the dive and the pitch are coming from different areas. I mean, that is a huge challenge. It's going to slow that defense down. They're not going to be able to react as quickly. They've got to think first, which is the worst thing you can do as a defender.
Yeah, you can't try to do 2 things. You're going to go and play the inside dive, play the dive. You're going to play the pitch man, that's what you have. Right here, you need to convert to the pass rush.
And the pass is caught on 2nd down and 13 by Niles Paul, the former wide receiver, now playing tight end, a 22-yard completion.
This is exactly what you're talking about, Dal. You have all those formations. Now all of a sudden, you have a nice play action right here. Defensive line doesn't really know what to do. He gets a lot of time there in the back to go and find his receiver downfield, Paul. Here it comes again.
From the Carolina 15, Griffin looking end zone. The Redskins 5 more. On his last drive, guys, Griffin surpassed 500 rushing yards for the season. He and Alfred Morris become the first set of rookies in NFL history, quarterback, running back, teammates, to each gain at least 500 yards on the ground.
And how excited was Alfred Morris to be a part of the backfield with Robert Griffin III, too. I mean, he was like a kid in the candy store when we talked to him on Friday. That, we came in the same year. Hopefully, we're going to have many, many years together in this Redskin backfield.
Second overall pick and a 6th-round selection. 2nd and 5. Griffin throws. Josh Norman on the coverage. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Well, we've had Carolina for the last 3 weeks in a row. It has been fun watching Josh Norman play. He's gone up against a lot of different style receivers. Saw him against Brandon Marshall last week. Worked against Miles Austin 2 weeks ago. Big guys, fast guys. He is aggressive. He is tough on the outside. He's got that attitude, that edge to him to play cornerback in the NFL.
Looks like he's gaining more and more confidence every week, too.
Fourth down and 5. Griffin with the toss. Brandon Banks. And Banks is stopped about 2 yards shy. So Mike Shanahan this time elects to send out the field goal unit. Went for it on 4th and goal from the 2 in the second quarter. But will play it safe with Kai Forbath.
You must have watched the halftime show when all the guys questioned the call to go for it on 4th down and goal there and not elect to get the points. So
field goal here would turn it into a 1-possession game. 8-point game. Forbath hit from 47 earlier. This a 25-yard attempt. Sav Rocca places it down. Forbath is 2 for 2. Redskins have pulled to within 8. RG3 of the Redskins go 10 plays, 69 yards, held to a field goal.
And that was a fun drive to watch. It kind of came out in that same formation, different personnel in it, and threw a ton of different looks.
And fun to watch.
Carolina defense.
If you're announcing the game, it's fun to watch. If you're over there playing defense, Darryl, that is not fun to watch. Wow, is that unbelievable? The formations and where the ball went, the play action. I mean, that was some fun stuff.
Here's his head still spinning. Wow. Here's Pilaris on the return. And Pilaris cut down at the 25-yard line. D'Angelo Hall, the 9-year vet out there on special teams. Pilaris shake it up. Panthers lead by 8. 4 active wide receivers on the Panthers roster today. Brandon LaFell out with the injury. Joe Adams inactive, the rookie out of Arkansas. A scratch for the 5th straight game. Panthers start from the 25 as Newton throws. Again looking for Olsen. There is a flag. London Fletcher on the coverage.
Personal foul, face mask, number 69. Offense. Got the distance to the goal. First down.
It's on the left tackle, the veteran Jordan Gross. Gross starting his 143rd game, extending his franchise record, battling with Redskin linebacker Rob Jackson.
Got that hand up there. You got to get it off. It can inadvertently hit there, but you've got to get it off right away.
Third Carolina penalty. First down and 22. Newton hands it off to Jonathan Stewart. And Stewart takes it all the way out to the 35-yard line. He looks to have a Panthers first down, 22-yard gain.
And this is a little bit different because he's going to have a lead block. This is more like an old-fashioned power play. It's handed off from that gun. But you had Greg Olsen coming around. There's 88. He's kind of that lead blocker coming on what you would see from a traditional power-style offense called a power.
Well, they have moved the spot back, so now second down and 1. Williams in the backfield with Tolbert. There's the fullback Tolbert, and he picks up a first down. We talked about Tolbert earlier, 4 years in San Diego, took less money to return to the Carolinas, attended Coastal Carolina, and then some very successful seasons playing for North Turner in San Diego.
I think the greatest compliment you can get is from an opposing coordinator that you're going against. And Jim Haslett had great things to say, the defensive coordinator for Washington, about Mike Tolbert. And about that, a guy who takes less money, just loves the game, comes in, poses so many threats to you defensively as a runner, receiver, blocker.
1:37, play action on first down. Newton going deep for Louis Murphy.
This is just a two-man route, so we're going to max protect it. You've got everybody in. Get a nice pocket set up for Cam Newton. You got Louis Murphy on the deep cross, or this inside out, and here comes Steve Smith on the lower one. Well defensed by the Redskins, and that's an area that they have struggled with all season long. The big play over the top. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. The one thing the Redskin defense couldn't do was allow any of those splash plays in the passing game. They've done a nice job this afternoon.
Play clock at 1. Panthers were shuffling personnel in and out.
Delay of game.
And the clock is wound all the way down.
Second down.
The officials were counting players as Tolbert scrambled off to the sideline. And then the play clock expired.
I think his big thing, you've got everybody right there at the spot, so he can't do anything right there. As they're counting the players, he can't even go. He's asking for a reset on the clock. Hey, you were just under center. You know, you gotta give me a rebump on that clock.
Instead is second down and 15. Play clock now at 5. Off the fake to D'Angelo Williams. Newton fires to the outside, and it is Steve Smith who makes the catch up at the 46-yard line. 14-yard pass play, setting up a third down and 1.
And get your composure back. You're very frustrated by the way that last play occurred. Now just get back into the huddle, get that play called, come out and execute. Give yourself a shot on third down here. Good job working the sideline by Steve Smith.
Tolbert and Stewart in the backfield. Third down and 1. It is Tolbert, and it looks like he did not get enough.
He was stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Nice job by that defensive line. Same formation they saw in the last 3rd and 1. Knowing that it's going to come right up the middle. Look at the push they get. They stop that whole offensive line right on the line of scrimmage.
Rob Jackson does a nice job squeezing that down. Yep.
Rob Jackson turned 27 years of age yesterday. Big play on third down. Stopping Tolbert. Norton punting from his own 35. Got exactly what he had in mind.
No, and he had a critical shank punt last week against Chicago. Had a 6-yarder late in that game that led to a touchdown by Chicago, and that's an opportunity to really flip field position. We're confused about that, and Cam Newton still trying to figure out why he didn't get a new clock set.
Right here on Fox, best starting field position for the Redskins today. From their own 40-yard line, trailing by 8. On first down, the handoff to Alfred Morris. And a penalty marker comes flying in as Morris gains 3.
Holding, number 36, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the fullback, Darrell Young. Seventh Redskins penalty.
That's definitely an area that the Redskins need to get cleaned up. The most penalties in the NFL. And it's tough to win football games when you're beating yourself. We've talked about both of these teams being in close games and trying to get over that hurdle, and correcting your penalty issues is one of the ways you can help yourself out.
First down and 20 following the penalty. Griffin off the fake, throws, and And the catch is made, taken out to the 47-yard line, gain of 17 for Leonard Hankerson.
This is nice composure in the pocket by Robert Griffin III, because, you know, again, it's that play action, but watch as everything kind of converges around him. A lot of poise right here. He's got bodies running all around, just stands right in there.
Yeah, the one thing that Washington Redskins offensive line is doing is they're doubling both the inside tackles, because they know if those guys, Dewan Edwards and Ron Edwards, if they can get a push up the middle, that those ends are going to have an easier time of coming around the outside on Robert Griffin III.
Movement prior to the snap.
You know, we talked about last week against the Chicago Bears and having 6 sacks in the first half and none in the second half.
Neutral zone infraction, number 92, defense. His movement into the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty. The yardage results in a first down.
That's Dewan Edwards, Goose.
Yeah, and I think that was because Dewan Edwards last week in the second half was not in. He got injured with an ankle, and they missed that push in the middle. And I think the Redskins are identifying if they don't get that push in the middle, it's not easy for those defensive ends to come around and get the pressure that they need. So did a nice job of holding those guys up right up in the middle.
Only 1 sack for the Panthers today. Morris.
You can find some creases, huh, Darryl?
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it from up here, and it doesn't look like there's anything there, and he's getting 4 yards.
From the end zone, I mean, I have a great perspective of seeing exactly what's going on. And it looks like the smallest little crease, but he identifies it even before it opens up, and he is through it.
Morris played for Howard Snellenberger at Florida Atlantic. They went 1-11 last year, only 1 win. Now third of the NFL in rushing. Griffin to the near side, complete to the former Tampa Bay Buck, Desmond Briscoe, for a Redskins first down.
I thought the funny story that Alfred Morris told us about was his Senior Bowl experience, and ended up having, you know, Mike Shanahan and the Redskins staff there. So you're expecting this great story where, yeah, we noticed him, we were trying to keep him hush-hush and not tell anybody. We talked to Mike Shanahan, he goes, yeah, he played fullback for us. Didn't see a whole lot there. But then when we went back and watched him on film, you could see the moves, you could see the different things, but
no carries, no touches in the Senior Bowl.
Didn't even help the guy out at the Senior Bowl.
Griffin, tackled by Wonderland from behind, and then Kyle Shanahan said, if we realized how good he was, we would have picked him well before the 6th round.
Hopefully that'll help him out in his new contract.
Time winding down in his third quarter. Morris with 77 yards on the ground today, but the Redskins have been kept out of the end zone. They have 2 field goals, trailing by 8. Second down and 9. From the 36-yard line of Carolina. Off the play fake. Pass is caught by the fullback, Darrell Young. And the clock stops with 10 seconds remaining in the third. They're down in 4. Upcoming for the Redskins.
They have been efficient this afternoon offensively, the Washington Redskins.
And now a flag is thrown.
They were screaming down here on the field to the officials for a flag, and it finally came out.
Again, both teams trying to shuffle personnel. We head down to Carl Jeffers.
Ineligible player downfield, number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Very late flag. It's the left guard, Corey Lichtensteiger. Guilty Redskin.
That was just a simple play-action pass.
Mike Shanahan would like an explanation.
Corey Lichtensteiger is going to be your left guard. There he is, 78. He's definitely downfield. It looked like a screen when it first started. It looked like a screen, but then both Darrell Young and Alfred Morris released on, you know, our traditional short play action pass routes for the running backs. So, but it definitely looked like Corey Lichtensteiger thought screen.
So the Redskins facing a second down and 14 as the third quarter comes to an end here in Landover, Maryland, with the Carolina Panthers leading the Washington Redskins by 8. Fourth quarter coming up on Fox. Welcome back. Panthers lead the Redskins 14-6. As we begin the fourth quarter, Mike Shanahan's Redskins have controlled the time of possession over 28.5 minutes.
Yeah, almost 12 minutes more right there. And go back to what you saw before. Score by quarter. We've got field goals. Washington is kicking field goals right now. The only time Carolina's been in the red zone, they got a touchdown.
Second down and 15 as Griffin is down back at the 46-yard line. Ball came loose. Trent Williams on the recovery. Charles Johnson.
Wow, nice job of coming off the ball for that defensive line. Charles Johnson off you on your right. You're going to see him come in. Gets upfield, gets the inside shoulder. Comes right back in. They're getting the pressure up in the middle too. RG3 doesn't see him. Does a nice job of going and attacking the ball also.
Second sack for Johnson today. Now third down and 20. Redskins force back by a penalty and then a sack. Off the fingertips of Josh Morgan, incomplete. So the Redskins waste an opportunity. They will punt it away.
Not as many drops as we had last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but still, you know, a few of them. You know, they're
hit them in the hands.
Yeah, at this level, you know, you got to make that catch.
You got to make that catch. Absolutely, absolutely.
Hear what Jimmy Johnson said on the pregame. If not for the 16 drops this season, RG3's completion percentage would be around 74. Captain Munderland shake it up early. Has remained in the game. Fair catch called for back at the 8-yard line. Charles Johnson getting it done for the Panthers, bringing down RG3 for the second time. Just outside our nation's capital, Carolina Panthers with an 8-point lead. Cam Newton touchdown pass to Steve Smith. D'Angelo Williams with the other Carolina score. Panthers start from their 9-yard line with Stewart in the backfield. Newton out of the shotgun, fakes the handoff to Stewart. Newton fires downfield, and the catch is made by Armonte Edwards. And Edwards, with one man to beat, is knocked down by that Redskin defender, Cedric Griffin. For Edwards, his second career reception, and he takes it 82 yards.
Well, we heard about we're going to think about aggressive play calling. Coming off backed up. Watch the help right here. It's going to be a max protection. Get in there as anybody needs a little bit of help. Get them pushed around. Cam stands in the pocket and just hits this in stride.
Steve Smith coming from the other side of the field. Look at this block right here to go and get him another 25, 30 yards. Great hustle by Steve Smith.
So Armonte Edwards, a quarterback at Appalachian State. Now it's D'Angelo Williams out of the Wildcat. We saw this a couple of times last week against Chicago, and Williams takes it down inside the 6.
The Redskins had done such a good job all afternoon keeping that splash play from happening, and you know, sometimes it just seems like it's inevitable. You talk to defensive coordinator Jim Haslett, and we do everything right, and then we make a silly mistake and turn a guy loose. The Giant game, late in the game, they end up losing that game on a big pass play. We saw the numbers there for the Carolina leaders. It was not a very productive day offensively. Jim Haslett's defense had done a good job up until that play.
Newton had 110 passing yards up until that 82-yard pass. Now Newton looking for Smith in the end zone, and there is a flag. Josh Wilson on the coverage for the Redskins.
And Josh Wilson mugged him. Watch right here. Steve Smith inside. He's going towards the corner. Josh Smith. Wilson just goes and grabbing onto him, never turns back to look and see when the ball's coming.
Yeah, both of the plays where we've been down in the red zone with Josh Wilson.
26, defense. That foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic. First down.
The first one ended up in a touchdown catch by Steve Smith, and this one ends up with pass interference in the end zone. So the ball is going to be placed on the 1-yard line. In both of those instances, Josh Wilson did not get his head around to find the flight of the ball. And he better watch it, or he's going to get another penalty and an ejection here.
Remember, teammate D'Angelo Hall ejected last week, and now Wilson hustling to get off the field. Newton. He is into the end zone for a Panthers touchdown.
Well, that drive is, you know, as a coach, you talk to your players about, listen, we got to prevent the big plays, and then you get down, you have to know who the red zone threat is. It's Cam Newton, and why Josh Wilson is arguing during this entire process when he's not even supposed to be on the field.
Well, lack of discipline on the part of Wilson, and then Newton takes it in. His 4th rushing touchdown this season. He had 14 last year.
Well, just a breakdown in everything fundamental by the Redskin defense on that drive. They played well up until that point, but that was a bad drive for the Skins defense.
The big play, 82 yards from Newton to Edwards. Raheem Morris, Jim Haslett, and Josh Wilson. Redskins have allowed 98 points in the 4th quarter, most in any quarter in the NFL this season, following a Cam Newton 1-yard touchdown run. The big play, Newton to Armonte Edwards. 82 yards from the Carolina 9 to the Redskins 9. Banks. Brandon Banks still on his feet. Jumped out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Watch tonight, the most animated night on TV returns. Don't miss Animation Domination with all new episodes of your favorite comedies, The Cleveland Show, The Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, and American Dad. All new episodes of Animation Domination are back starting tonight at 7:30, 6:30 Central on Fox. The Redskins find themselves in a 15-point hole. They have not been held without a touchdown in any game this season. A pair of field goals, and that has been it. Griffin steps up and throws a bit high, intended for Logan Paulson. Now, having the lead in the 4th quarter, Darryl, not an unfamiliar position for the Panthers. They've lost 5 straight games, but in 3 of their last 4 against Atlanta, Dallas, and Chicago, Carolina has had leads in all 3 of those games in the 4th quarter.
And I think they've gone back and looked at some of the scenarios and let that impact their decision-making the next week too much, in my opinion. You know, you're always going to second-guess yourself on things, and they did it against the Atlanta Falcons when they got Roddy White got behind him. That impacted them last week against Chicago when they played a soft coverage in the 2-minute situation.
From the 22, Griffin, Gallup. Back at the 19, Andre Niblin. Bringing down RG. Thanks, Kurt. So a big day for the 1st overall draft selection, Andrew Luck. RG3, number 2 overall pick. Griffin and the Redskins trail by 15 on 3rd down and 12. Down goes Griffin once again. It is Greg Hardy, 3 sacks last week. It is the 3rd Carolina sack today. Redskins forced to punt.
This is a nice job by 4 defensive linemen, not bringing anybody else. They do a nice little twist here on the outside, come right underneath, but they all keep working towards the middle of the pocket. That's what you have to do. This group is working together. That's what we saw last week against Chicago in the 1st half, and we didn't see it in the 2nd half last week.
Good kick by Rocca. This is Butterland. Force back, stays on his feet. Now some positive yardage. Out of bounds at the 44. Greg Hardy. And the Panthers defense strong. Carolina Panthers looking to end their 5-game losing streak. 15-point lead over the Washington Redskins. D'Angelo Williams in the backfield. Panthers start from their own 45-yard line off the fake to Williams. Newton complete, and then Olsen loses the football. But it was ruled down.
Ruling on the field as the runner is down by 5 back, 2nd down.
You know, Darryl, I'm just really shocked by Carolina's offense right now. I really thought that they would come out, put Cam underneath the center, put the running back there, put a fullback back there, and run the ball. They've been running extremely well and trying to wear this clock out a little bit, but that's not what we're seeing.
I think you just saw Ron Rivera there on the sideline, and he's looked back, and there were times during the course of these tight losses that he could have been more aggressive. You saw it coming off their back end with a pass to Amani Edwards. I think he wants to keep that style still involved.
2nd and 5. Here's D'Angelo Williams up the middle for the Redskins, 48-yard line.
You just keep creating doubt in this Redskin defense. I mean, they came in, they knew a few things. You know, they've been giving up big plays. They had to steer clear of that. They know when Cam Newton is the featured guy in their offense, and they haven't been able to really stop him in those situations. So, I mean, I think you come after him. You're not getting pressure on the quarterback. Arakpo and character, that injury's out. Your safety situation has been a challenge all season.
Monty Edwards in the slot, 3rd down and 3. Panthers must get to the 45 as Newton dives across for a Carolina first down. Under 10 minutes remaining, 4th quarter, as Newton signals first down.
And that's one of the areas that he's a threat, 3rd down and also into the red zone. And you look at where he stands since 2011. I mean, the only 2 guys ahead of him are Arian Foster and LaShawn McCoy. Sitting right there with Ray Rice at 18. That's pretty good company.
New set of downs for Carolina. On the 45-yard line, it's Jonathan Stewart. Stewart able to gain 3.
That to me is one of the reasons we said 21-6 Carolina, because we haven't really seen those numbers from the Carolina offense when you talk about running the football. Cam Newton has been their rushing attack a majority of the season. Today, it's been D'Angelo Williams. It's been Jonathan Stewart along with Cam Newton at critical times.
So the Panthers out rushing the Redskins, who came into the game number 2 in the NFL on the ground. Only the 49ers average more rushing yards per game than Washington. This is Stewart. And this time he is forced back. Harry Cofield. Wow.
Again, yeah, the depth of skill players in Green Bay. You know, Greg Jennings banged up, Jordy Nelson banged up. We see Randall Cobb. Now we see Tom Crabtree on a huge play. Gosh, they got so many weapons there.
3rd down and 9 for Carolina. Newton sets and throws, and a pass deflects away from Steve Smith. So it's 7:46 remaining. Redskins will get the ball back.
Steve Smith on the outside. Good jam by Cedric Griffin right there. And, you know, you just got to come across that interior level right there. You got to get into that little window between the linebackers.
Brad Nortman had a 14-yard punt earlier. You mentioned a 6-yarder last week. Punting from his own 47. Banks will let it bounce. Out of bounds right around the 14-yard line. Redskins trail by 15. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. 7:37 remaining, 4th quarter. Redskins down by 15. Start from their own 14-yard line as that pass is intended for Joshua Morgan. James Anderson on the coverage.
This defense is doing a great job with a 4-man rush, like we pointed out earlier. They're doing all the right things right now. We had them last week against Chicago, and Darryl, we talked about it. They didn't finish the game. You know, got a couple injuries, but they didn't finish the game. And it looks like right now they have a sense of urgency, and they're trying to do whatever they can to finish the game today.
Talked about those 3 blown leads in the 4th quarter. Griffin complete to Royster. Out to the 19-yard line.
Yeah, something that we didn't see last week. You know, they got 6 last week in the Chicago game, but here in the second half against the Redskins, 3 sacks for that defensive line. And not a lot of bring in that fifth guy. There's only with 4 guys rushing the passer, which is impressive.
All 3 in the second half, Tony. All 6 in the first half last week. This time, Griffin escapes.
I need to see a replay because I can't believe he got out of that one.
There is a flag as Griffin picked up first down yardage. Flag back at the 20-yard line.
I thought
Offside, number 95, defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, first down.
Charles Johnson early on that one, but I really thought that they had their 4th sack of the second half here, Tony. I just don't know how he gets out of there.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's like a ghost in there, man. Look how it comes out of this puck. He gets hit right there. All of a sudden, he just turns around, sees open ground, tucks the ball away. Should have the ball in the other hand, but nice job getting that first down.
Griffin on first down, complete. And Royster breaks free. Evan Royster takes it all the way out to the 43-yard line for another Redskins first down, gain of 17.
Wow, that was great patience by Evan Royster because as the screen got set up, it looked like Carolina had it defended well. That was some really nice running after the catch.
And Robert Griffin had the defensive lineman right in his face and held on to that ball. Look at this, he gets out again.
Again, Griffin escapes and throws incomplete, bobbled. And Royster could not hang on, but again, we see that escapability by Robert Griffin III.
This is so difficult for Washington right now because, as Tony keeps pointing out, this is with 4 down linemen getting this type of pressure on Robert Griffin III. That means 7 guys are back in zone coverage. It's going to be hard for anybody to find an open receiver. Number one, you've got the pressure. Number two, you know, the odds are against you down the field.
It's like Houdini out there.
Evan Royster shaken up. Alfred Morris back in. Hardy on the sidelines for Carolina. Second down and 10. Griffin's pass is high. Intended for Morris. So the clock stops with 6:07 remaining. Panthers lead by 15. Redskins facing a 3rd down and 10.
These are 2 very, very critical snaps for the Washington Redskins right here. They've got to be able to convert, continue to move the ball down the field, and get points on this drive. A lot of talk about this being a must-win situation for Washington this week going into their bye at 21-6. You know, what will the mindset be of this team if they lose this must-win situation that was created by the organization?
3rd down and 10. Griffin steps and throws, and it's through the hands of Morgan. So the Redskins, who were 2 for 3 on 4th down earlier, leave the offense on the field 4th and 10.
Again, there's been some catches. They would have been tough catches, but they need to be made, especially in critical situations. And you know, we saw a bunch of them last week in the Pittsburgh game. We've seen several again this week against Carolina. A lot of drops by his receivers and his playmakers.
Timeout taken by Carolina.
Timeout, Carolina.
With 6:03 remaining here in the 4th. Panthers leading by 15. Well, in the aftermath of natural disasters like Superstorm Sandy, the American Red Cross provides life-saving services such as meals, shelter, and mobilizing resources and workers nationwide. Visit redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. And again, the NFL and the NFL Players Association jointly pledged $1 million earlier this week to the American Red Cross to aid in relief and recovery efforts in the Northeast. Two for 3 today on 4th down. Griffin was stopped on 4th and goal from the 2.
Carolina showing blitz here. Walk back out of it. 4-man rush. But that's enough.
Goes down back at the 33-yard line. Charles Johnson and Greg Hardy again.
I can't say enough about those 4 defensive linemen. Hardy, Dewan Edwards, Ron Edwards, Charles Johnson, all working like a pack of dogs. Watch these guys. Working together, upfield, closing the pocket, making sure that RG3's in front of him so he can't escape. and just keep closing the pocket until RG3 has to go and move, and then go in there and take him down for the sack. Great job by these 4 defensive linemen for the Carolina Panthers.
Second sack for Hardy. Johnson has 2. Panthers take over on downs with under 6 minutes remaining. What a job by this Panthers defense. A defense that, including today, they've allowed only 4 touchdowns over the last 4 games.
They have played well enough to win some of these close games.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of times you're going to go back to a specific play in that game. You're going to go to the Roddy White pass when they had him backed up on the 1. You're going to look at their drive last week against Chicago and say, you know, the defense really isn't holding up there. It's been complimentary. They have played well enough to allow this offense to find ways to win games.
Angelo Williams met by Kendrick Colston. And this Panthers offense, Darryl, 2 of their touchdown drives were 90-plus yards. First time in franchise history they've had 2 touchdown drives of at least 90 yards in the same game.
It's difficult to do. It really is. I mean, that shows great efficiency by an offense. You're not beating yourself. You're controlling your penalties. You're being smart. And, you know, we talked about, you know, the Redskins not giving up those big plays, and they did a good job of that, but it didn't matter because Carolina was so efficient offensively, being able to drive the ball the length of the field.
Second down at 12. Off the fake to Williams. Newton with time. Fires downfield for Smith in the end zone. There is a flag as D'Angelo Hall comes up with the football.
They're really letting them play on the outside. You watch here, a little stutter and go, and D'Angelo Hall plays it well, has the arm there. It's a good job by the officials of just letting them play. And you know what? One of the things that D'Angelo Hall did on that play was he got his head turned around. We've talked about Josh Wilson on the other side not getting his head around. One of the reasons he was able to play that, and you get the benefit of the doubt in a pass interference situation.
Flag was picked up. Good coverage by Hall. Third down and 12. Louis Murphy. Murphy tackled at the 32-yard line by Perry Riley as we approach 5 minutes remaining, 4th quarter.
This is kind of an odd spot and an odd decision. It'll be interesting to see what the Carolina Panthers decide to do here. You're right on the cusp of a long field goal attempt. A lot of second guessing on that 51-yard attempt that they turned down last week at the end of the first half by Ron Rivera. I mean, do you really want to punt in this situation? Are you going to go for it in a 4th and 8?
I think you got to punt it. And this
would be a 50-yard attempt if Ron Rivera sent out the field goal unit. Right now his offensive line has remained on the field. Play clock winds all the way down to 1, and then Rivera uses his second timeout to think about it.
Well, it's a 2-possession game right now, so you've got a little bit inside 4.5 minutes. You're talking to your kicker right now. How'd you feel pregame? When I watched Justin Medlock in the beginning of the game, he was pulling things to the right. It was going the other direction, but he was pulling things to his right. He was right on the edge last week. I think the reason that Ron Rivera elected not to kick that long field goal at the end of the first half, even though time would have ran out, was the trajectory of the ball coming out. He was really worried about a blocked kick and return. And I think, again, this is one of those aggressive decisions that he's second-guessing himself on. This week, you know what? I'm going to let him go out in this situation and see if he can do it.
His season long is 45. He has not missed. Perfect in Chicago last week, 5 for 5. But Medlock, who tried out for the Redskins a couple of years ago, with his first unsuccessful kick of the season.
There was a lot of penetration there. Was there a block on that?
I don't know. It looked like it was close, but I didn't see the ball change.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You had a Redskin player come through.
Either he ran by it or he hit it.
Well, Medlock unsuccessful from 50. Redskins take over with 4:22 remaining. RG3 to the near side for Joshua Morgan. Morgan grew up in our nation's capital, leading the Redskins with 6 receptions today. Gain of 5 on the play.
Well, here's the other area. If we're going to talk about aggressive decision making, how are they going to play it in this situation, Tony? It's a 2-possession game, a little over 4 minutes.
Second down and 5. Complete. And then dropped by Morgan. Incomplete. And we welcome those of you who are watching the Lions and the Jaguars. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa here in Landover, Maryland, as Joshua Morgan could not make the catch. The hit by Thomas Davis. This Carolina Panthers defense has been outstanding today. Panthers lead the Redskins 21-6.
4 sacks here in the second half. They've been able to get to Robert Griffin III with just their 4 down guys.
Now the Redskins pick up the first down. It's the tight end Logan Paulson into Panthers territory. Gain of 12.
Oh, Logan Paulson just threw the ball back to the official, and he wasn't paying attention.
The umpire, Andre Wash. Like he got hit around his right eye.
Logan Paulson's going to make the catch. He's going to flip it to the umpire. Thinks he's watching. He's not paying attention. Catches him right in the face. I think he was waiting for a ball coming from the sideline. Logan thought he was motioning for him to throw him the ball.
Got to be ready for anything out there. Andre Wash right there. Looked like he shook it off. Those officials are tough too, man. Shake it off, and he's back out there ready to go.
That was good right there because he was tackled in bounds.
One good thing, he doesn't have to take a play off.
There we go. Yeah, get a chance to get back in that huddle, rest, right back to the line.
Andre doesn't take a play off either, Tony. First and 10 from the Carolina 43. Griffin steps up, fires downfield. Pass intended for Leonard Hankerson. Rod Martin on the coverage, along with Charles Godfrey.
Well, I like the play call by the Washington Redskins right here. Leonard Hankerson, little out and up into the middle of the field. Carolina has struggled with some deep balls this season. They play it well that time.
Now second and 10, 3:40 remaining. Redskins with a record of 3-5. Panthers have lost 5 in a row. Lead this game by 15. Again, it's Paulson, and Luke Kuechly, first-round pick out of Boston College, makes the tackle as the Redskins hurry back up to the line. 3rd down and 4. On 3rd down, the pass is broken up by Josh Norman.
Josh Norman makes a great break on this ball. Almost had the pick.
Pass intended for Santana Moss.
There he is right there. He reads it, comes back inside.
That's great eyes back to the quarterback, Tony, because he actually had Aldrick Robinson on the outside on the deep route, but he's playing it with his eyes back to the quarterback and sees the short throw, comes off of his guy and able to make a play on the ball.
Santana Moss shaken up, heading to the sidelines. So the Redskins now facing a 4th down and 4. They were successful on 4th down twice in the first half, but then a big stop by the Panthers defense on Griffin. 4th and goal from the Panthers 2. And then Carolina would score on their next possession. And a timeout
Final charge timeout
is taken
Carolina
by the Panthers. Their 3rd and final timeout. 1 touchdown for Ron Rivera's Panthers in each of the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, and it was the running game that got everything started. D'Angelo Williams gets to the outside, works the sideline, goes in for 7. And then Steve Smith, how about that? First touchdown of the year for Steve Smith at this stage. Who would have thought that? And one of the areas that this offense really relies on Cam Newton as a runner, the red zone, and especially down in tight. And Ron Rivera's group very impressed with how they've bounced back. It's been a difficult stretch here over the last month. And the game last week to Chicago, just a devastating loss. And they've come out and they've played very well this afternoon.
Panthers defense with 4 sacks. Offensively, 331 yards. They have not turned the ball over. 4th down and 4 for the Redskins. As Griffin takes off and dives inside the 30. Picks up a 1st down. Oof.
He's got to be careful, man. You don't want to leak like that. You got those linebackers coming. You know you want to be competitive, but those guys out there are just as fast as you are.
From the 29, Griffin fires, and the catch is made and held onto by Paulson at the Carolina 10.
I tell you, I've been impressed with Logan Paulson since he's come in and been the go-to guy at the tight end spot with the injury to Fred Davis. That is a great catch and a great job of holding on to it. That was a big hit he took at the end.
His 5th reception today. 1st and goal from the 10. Griffin throws. It's caught and then taken down inside the 3-yard line by Leonard Hankerson.
Critical to get up here, get some plays run before the 2-minute warning.
Redskins have all 3 timeouts, but the clock continues to run. 2nd and goal from the 3. Griffin looking end zone, he throws, and that one is broken up by Godfrey.
Well, here you go. Robert Griffin III just selling out here, 4th and 4. Your whole season. If this is a must-win situation, that is the biggest play in the game so far. Great effort. And Logan Paulson, watch this. That's Charles Godfrey. He is a physical safety. Great catch right there. Good targeting by Charles Godfrey on the hit.
Now 3rd and goal from the 3. Griffin, quarterback draw. Takes it in for the Redskins. Touchdown. There is a flag.
Holding, number 63, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's on the center. Former Carolina Panther Will Montgomery against the Redskins touchdown.
And this is just great athleticism by Robert Griffin III because he was going to go out to the right. And Carolina moved up. They had him hemmed in. He was going nowhere, and he escapes and gets out and gets into the end zone.
That's a 2-minute warning.
We hit the 2-minute warning. Panthers lead remains 15 points. London Fletcher can only watch as the Redskins try and reach the end zone following the penalty. It is now 3rd and goal. Back at the 13-yard line. Griffin moving to his right. Griffin heading for the sidelines. Oh, and he takes a hard hit. And there is a flag. Thomas Davis did not believe that the penalty marker was thrown. After Griffin ran for the sidelines.
And he's got to be clearly in the white. Let's see where he goes as he goes out of bounds on this hit. Well, that's close. It's close. It's one of the risks you run as a quarterback, and one of the things that Mike Shanahan has said Robert Griffin III has done a really good job this year.
Unnecessary roughness, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic, 1st down.
He knows when to get down. He's learned the athleticism of the defenders in this league, how big they are, how strong they are, how physical the collisions are. But again, it's like that 4th down play. You know, you get into these situations, and sometimes, you know, your competitive nature takes over.
Well, a huge flag, an automatic 1st down. It would have been 4th and goal. Another flag is thrown as Griffin crosses to the end zone. Touchdown. Leonard Hankerson, but there is a flag back at the 4-yard line.
Illegal formation, offense. Neither receiver on the left side of the formation was on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
So the Redskins have now had 2 touchdowns negated on this drive by penalty.
Yeah, it's tough. One of these guys has got to be on the line. You got to check, look in. You know you're off the ball. So Leonard Hankerson, Joshua Morgan, you got to know that. That's fundamental football. So another touchdown opportunity missed out. But the big thing on that scramble by Robert Griffin III on the hit, he never really got out of bounds. He was hit before his foot went down.
Now from the 8-yard line, Griffin a pump fake. Griffin throws, catch is made by Aldrick Robinson, and he is kept out of the end zone by Sherrod Martin.
You got to catch that ball. You got to get skinny, get down, and work towards the end zone.
Redskins use a timeout.
Aldrick Robinson on the bottom. He's going to come inside and catch it right now. Now dart. No, not a whole lot of room to dart to.
Yeah, that was
pretty good job by Sherrod Martin. And that Luke Kuechly as well?
Yeah, Kuechly was right there.
Well, the Redskins, with 1:34 remaining, use their first timeout. It will be 2nd and goal from the Carolina 2.
The big issue here right now, time is their biggest opponent right now, and that touchdown with the quarterback draw by Robert Griffin III when they had the hold on Will Montgomery was 1:57, so we're 23 seconds into when we should have already had a touchdown for the Redskins.
13th play of this drive as Griffin hands it off.
He got in.
He did. He is taken into the end zone for a Redskins touchdown. They already had 2 negated. Evan Royster with his first touchdown run of the season.
Now, unfortunately, it took them an additional 30 seconds to get that touchdown back that they lost on the holding penalty to Will Montgomery.
So with 1:28 remaining, after 2 Redskin touchdowns were negated due to penalty, Royster scores his first NFL touchdown. Guy Forbath for the extra point to keep it a 1-possession game. Redskins back to within 8. We will return after this message. Danny Smith, Redskins special teams coach, as the Redskins will set up for the onside kick, down by 8 with 1:28 on the clock, 4th quarter.
Yeah, a special teams group that's been much maligned this season, an opportunity for them to make a huge play right here for the Redskins.
Overall this season, teams recovering under 20% of the onside kicks, 5 of 27.
Well, there's been rule changes for player protection that have made these even more difficult to execute.
To the right side, and it is right into the arms of Steve Smith.
Didn't even have a chance on that one.
Well, that's what you hope for when you're on the onside kick recovery team. You're hoping for this nice Sunday hop that comes right up to you. Gets it a little bit too far down the field.
Yeah, too deep.
And it's perfect.
So the Carolina Panthers, 1:27 seconds away from their 2nd victory of the season. Redskins have 2 timeouts, and this play is blown dead.
Neutral zone infraction, number 91, defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
By Kerrigan. Pepsi postgame show coming up following the Redskins and the Panthers. Redskins, as Darryl alluded to, will have a bye next week, then host the Philadelphia Eagles 2 weeks from today. Panthers will host their former head coach, John Fox. Denver Broncos visit Charlotte next Sunday. Redskins use their second timeout.
I'm very impressed with the performance of the Carolina Panthers today. It was a very, very difficult stretch the last month and a very difficult game last week. You got Steve Smith involved, his first touchdown of the year. And this offense is starting to hit its stride. It's been a process through the first half of the season. The running game was very productive today. You look at that bottom one. That is the most impressive stat of the day, in my opinion. 2 touchdown drives of 90-plus yards for the first time in the history of the franchise. One of them, a 99-yard drive after your defense makes a goal line stand on 4th down right at the end of the first half. And that's huge momentum that you carry into the second half.
And then the huge play on the second long drive, the 82-yard completion from Newton to Armonte Edwards. Minute 15 remaining. Redskins will use their final timeout.
Fox being a must-win game, not only just going into the bye, but really as you look ahead at that schedule coming out of the bye. Philadelphia at Dallas, Giants, Baltimore. I mean, the back end of the Redskins schedule is very, very challenging.
Now, if the Panthers do not pick up a first down here, and they will not as Stewart gets bottled up. Remember, Redskins out of timeout, so the Panthers will allow the clock to run. Right now, the play clock is at 30, and the Panthers can't call timeout before the punt. They'll have to get the punt away, and the Redskins will get the ball back at just under a half minute remaining. As Brandon Banks drops back deep.
Brad Nortman needs to get a good punt here. He had a devastating 6-yarder last week. He's had a 14-yarder today. He's got to be able to execute his job in this situation.
Panthers take a delay of game. We have 27 seconds remaining. Forcing the back 5.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down. 9 seconds on the game clock. 2-9.
So 2 seconds will be added to the game clock. 29 seconds, says Carl Jeffers.
Robert Griffin III is looking to get out there before they even punt the ball. He's excited to have a little bit of time left to try and get in the end zone again.
Ball placed at midfield. We welcome those of you who have just joined us as Brandon Banks takes the punt at the 15. There is a flag. We have 18 seconds remaining here in Landover, Maryland. Carolina Panthers lead the Washington Redskins by 8.
Running into the kicker, number 52, defense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
52, Keenan Robinson.
That's the first time I've seen a kicker go down that it wasn't a fake. You know, normally they do 52 fake outs, and if he touched their shoelace, they go down, but he actually got hit on that one.
Well, no 52 fake out, but he was hit goose by number 52, Keenan Robinson. So with 18 seconds remaining, and the Panthers leading by 8.
That penalty is declined.
Ron Rivera declines the penalty.
Washington.
Redskins out of timeouts, trailing by 8. As Robert Griffin III leads the Washington offense. Back out onto the field. Ball is placed at the 17-yard line. Redskins must go 83 yards, Darrell, in 18 seconds with no timeouts.
Stranger things have happened.
Griffin out of the shotgun. Here we go. Short pass to Banks. And Banks stays on his feet. Remember, Ron Rivera was part of the play in the Stanford-Cal game 30 years ago. Rivera will celebrate as the Redskins cannot duplicate that play. Time runs out, and the Panthers' 5-game losing streak comes to an end. Redskins drop to 3-6. Panthers now 2-6. Carolina with a 21-13 victory over the Washington Redskins. So for Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, this is Kenny Albert saying so long here in Landover as we take another look at that final play as RG3 can only watch.
Well, I kind of have the same reaction as Robert Griffin III on that play. I know what they were trying to do, trying to get it out and get everybody involved, but didn't work out that way. And as you pointed out earlier, Kenny, the first time in the history of the NFL that we've had the last 2 Heisman Trophy winners going against each other.
As starting quarterbacks the next year. Now to the